This time of the year is tournament time in college softball this weekend. Some of the very best have descended upon San Marcos, Texas for the States Up Invitational. Today in the opener, we have the 3-2 Texas State Bobcats hosting the 4-2 18th-ranked Clemson Tigers. Hello and welcome to San Marcos, Texas. Again, I'm Bill Culhane along with the Olympian and national champion Nicole Mendez. And Nicole, you know a whole lot about winning. As you look at the field in this tournament, there is a whole lot of quality.
Oh my gosh, you look at this field, you see these teams. This matchup tonight is obviously one for the ages, Texas State and Clemson, but across the board you have Arkansas, you have Wichita State and BYU. This almost looks like a regional matchup at postseason. That's the caliber and quality of this tournament. I'm excited to see how it unfolds, but especially with this first game here tonight. Yeah,
Clemson and Arkansas actually slated to go up twice in this tournament, and there's a look at both teams. You visited with both coaches today, Nicole. What intrigues you the most about Clemson v. Texas State?
I think the biggest thing is how these teams are trying to settle in. You have opening weekend, you get out those jitters, but settling in for both of these teams looks like pitching. That is the key for both of them. On Clemson's side, figuring out how to work your staff. Texas State side, figuring out how to attack the zone. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
For Texas State, their home opener, Clemson, 60 feet away from Oklahoma City last season. We'll be right back with the starting lineups and first pitch on ESPN+. 3-2 at the NFCA Leadoff Classic in Clearwater, Florida. Then run-rolled Furman in the Tigers home opener a couple of nights ago. And there's a look at her. The Bobcats give the ball to Madison Azua.
Azua, she is the ace of this staff. She is able to really spearhead this. No surprise that she gets the ball tonight in the circle. This is the pitcher that you want whenever you're facing a quality team like Clemson. 66 to 68 miles per hour. She throws on both sides of the plate. Very good curveball, does not miss wide often. Also dart in a changeup.
Defensively for the Bobcats, you see it there. A lot of familiar faces from a year ago for Ricky Woodard.
You bring in that experience on the mound, but also defensively, being able to showcase that. That is exactly where you want your team to be. Like you said, getting settled, getting right back into the swing of things here in this 2026 season.
The Clemson Tigers, ACC tournament champions a year ago, and there's the batting order for John Rittman. There is a lot of thunder in that Clemson Tiger batting order.
Yeah, Coach Rittman, he highlighted the first three batters of this lineup, just showcasing they can do it all. They are game changers. They are the spark plugs of this offense. If they go, the rest of the team goes. And I think if you're Clemson, trying to continue that momentum that you gained during your midweek on Tuesday, offense, you want to come out with a bang.
Yeah, Clemson, a part of that 9-1 win, 3 balls left the yard there in Clemson, South Carolina. There's a look at John Rittman, who brings his team to San Marcos, where at first pitch, 77 degrees with a breeze. I'm not going to call it a wind, a breeze blowing out of the south at 6 miles per hour, which here at Bobcat Softball Complex means it's blowing out towards left center. And there she is, Madison Azua. It's Brockenbrough, Chanel Collins, Noller, Pavesi, Bro, Hicks, Cintron, and Minish. The opener of the States Up Invitational. We're underway with the pitch low and inside.
What justifies a breeze versus a wind?
It can get windy here, as folks in these parts are well aware. Brockenbrough, the senior, hitting .333 on the year with 2 home runs, 6 driven in. Takes it outside for ball 2. Talk more about Azua, her mix of pitches, what she tries to do to the opponents.
Azua, the lefty pitcher, whenever you as a hitter see a curveball coming from the lefty side, that's something that you don't see as often, but also she can work both sides of the plate with the curveball and backdoor very, very well. Just like that pitch right there, getting it tight on the inside half to those lefties. It looks like as it's coming in, it's going right at your front hip. Last minute, it darts over and able to scratch and get that out inside half of the plate.
Brockenbrough, once upon a time a Tennessee Volunteer. A lot of speed at the top of the batting order, and looks at strike 2 over the outside corner. Just underway from San Marcos, Texas. And Clemson v. Texas State. You heard Nicole say it. This field, this weekend in San Marcos, would be quite a regional. Fouled out of play, third base side, as Bubella comes over and gives it a look. There's John Rittman. He is the guy who unboxed the softballs for this program. Their first season back, the COVID-shortened 2020 season. He's won a lot of games on the banks of Lake Hartwell. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That's a line drive. The shortstop, Hood, comes up and makes the grab. One up and one down.
Love this season. We talked about the experience, but look at how they're set up so far, pinched up the middle. They know with the backdoor curve that Azua likes to throw, there's going to be a lot of balls hit up the middle. Your third baseman stepping off the line just a little bit.
Kylie Chanel, the junior out of Keystone Heights, Florida. She's a transfer from Florida Atlantic down in Boca Raton. Was 1 for 2, a couple of runs, scored a solo home run in the win against the Paladins, against Furman a couple of nights ago. One thing that Coach Woodard mentioned to us this morning, Nicole, is how much range there is in the middle of this infield.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you want to have with this middle infield. Again, I mentioned that backdoor being a predominant pitch in Azua's arsenal. Knowing that there's going to be that backdoor pitch, a lot of times hitters, they like to take that pitch up the middle, especially if it leaks over the plate a little bit. They're able to get a hold more. And then you have her regular curveball that goes in tight on those righties. You're going to see more of a mix, more of a spray, and that's where we see third base stepping off 5-6 feet.
That pitch up the middle, Hood in front of the bag, fires it over to Coleman. 2 up and 2 down is in the early goings. You've seen it. Hood's been busy at shortstop.
And that one, a beautiful on the run. I love the way that she kept her momentum and her chest down. This one dies as soon as it hits the ground, but being able to transfer that ball over quick, continue her momentum over to first, that was fantastic.
Hood, a senior out of Allen, Texas, up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and standing in for the Clemson Tigers is Marion Collins, second baseman tonight. The sophomore hitting a robust .529 on the young season. That is lifted. Bubella into foul territory, and just like that, Madison Azua, 3 up and 3 down. Go the Tigers after this break. We'll be back as the Texas State Bobcats will grab the bats for the first time this season at home on ESPN+.
Of the newsroom and go out and interview and take pictures and just really enjoy the field of work that I really want to do.
Check out news4sa.com/careers or call 210-366-1129.
There's a look inside the Clemson Tigers dugout after Clemson goes scoreless in the top of the first inning. Getting the ball tonight for John Rittman. There's a look at Sierra Manis, the 5'7" junior from Woodruff, South Carolina, transfer from USC Upstate. Nicole, what does Manis bring in the tool bag out into the circle?
Manis, I love her as a pitcher because you don't see this too often. She is somebody who is able to have 3 separate speeds. Heavy with the drop ball, that is her go-to pitch. A lot of great movement, late break, but then also she has a curveball about 5-10 miles an hour. So you'll see that drop ball come in 66, 67. That curveball, you'll see it over there at 62.
And there's a look at the Tigers defensively. A lot of moving parts there for Clemson. A lot of players who can play a number of positions. And standing in to lead things off for the Bobcats. Keely Williams starting in right field tonight, hitting 500 on the season with 1 home run, 4 driven in, and first pitch swinging right through the box and into center field. 1 pitch, 1 hit for the Bobcats. And Nicole, I know you were a hitter. You love it when a hitter goes right back up the middle, don't you?
I love it, and that tells you with the confidence and the hardness of the swing, tight in on the hand, she knew what pitch she was going after. That tells me Texas State, their scout, is looking in and looking for these Clemson pitchers to attack early with their pitchers' pitches.
Harley Vestal stands in and looks at a strike on the outside corner. The sophomore hitting .357 on the year. There's a look at Ricky Woodard's lineup tonight. A lot of experience, and they're in cleanup. Ayanna Coleman, the reigning Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, the reigning Sun Belt Conference Newcomer of the Year. Not a bad resume.
Not a bad resume and not a bad 4-hole. I mean, the confidence that she brings. Coach Woodard was talking to us just about her performance and how it was a quote-unquote quiet one. She had 12 RBIs. Excuse me, 7 RBIs and 12 at-bats. I mean, just high success rates, and she's only going to go up from there.
Manis ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Vestal, a transfer from Texas A&M, a native of New Braunfels, Texas. About 20 minutes due south of here, and a ground ball gobbled up by the third baseman, Bro. The turn doesn't get 2, but does erase Williams at second base. Good job of eliminating the lead runner.
Yeah, quick hands. You can see Clemson defense settled in nicely. Looking ahead, these are the pitches that this defense is used to getting with that drop ball. A lot of ground balls for Clemson. A lot of handmade, ready-to-go double plays.
Carmen Bass will stand in, one of the veterans on this team, and there's a chopper. Bro to second for 1, and looked like an instant replay. Again, the Tigers go around the horn, get the lead runner Vestal at second base, and now 1 on and 2 down for Texas State. And here she comes.
And again, it's that
Coleman.
Drop ball on the inner half. These hitters right here for Texas State wanting to come up, go after, and get it. The inside drop ball is one of the hardest ones to go after. Keeping your posture low, getting that barrel down.
First pitch, a swing and a miss. Ayanna Coleman has already gotten her 2026 season off to a hot start. Home runs against Northwestern and Memphis over in Tempe last weekend. That's down and inside. Coleman, 62 runs driven in 57 career games at Texas State. That's a pretty good ratio. And Coleman out in front of that off-speed pitch.
There's that curveball that you see. It's not quite the changeup, like you mentioned, it's the off-speed. But whenever you draw back 6-7 miles an hour, and then you have a changeup on top of that, that makes you deadly as a pitcher.
There's a foul tip as Coleman stays alive. If Coleman were to reach, Zarate on deck. See her there in the background. Coleman a year ago, .421 batting average, 6 doubles, 17 home runs. Was walked intentionally 15 times last season, and this one is fouled out of play. As you would expect with a 5 p.m. Central first pitch, somewhat of a late arriving crowd, but we expect a lot of butts in the seats tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a game that you want to see this weekend. So many good teams.
There's a ground ball. It's fair ball. Gets past Bro into the corner. Ricky Woodard is going to give the green light to Bass, and she'll come in standing up for the first run of the ball game. Good 2-out base hit by Ayanna Coleman.
This play right here, we talked about pitchers doing their job, but defense right here, just a bit of a misplay, miscue. You can see how deep she is, and for a moment it looks like it tips off the third base bag, gets over towards that foul line just a little bit, just enough to be able to get past all the way deep into the corner. And if you're Texas State, you know you may not get too many opportunities like this. I think that's a great call by Coach Woodard, sending her runners, being aggressive.
Coleman credited with a single, advances to second on the throw back into the infield. So Texas State, an early 1-0 advantage. Standing in for the Bobcats, Kat Zarate, the junior, sat out all of last year due to injury. Here's the first pitch, a swing and a miss. One thing for Clemson. Last weekend in Clearwater, Florida, the Tigers fell behind early. Were outscored 8-0 in the first innings of ball games down in Clearwater. That ball chopped foul off the foot of Zarate, and Manis ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. It's hard to play from behind, isn't it? Now, both of these teams have the ability to come back, but it's a tough ask if you're doing it game after game.
Yeah, and that's something that Coach Rittman hit on, was being behind. That is not where you want to play. First couple innings, that's where you want to execute and get out in front and feel the other team kind of, I don't want to say get on their heels, but you want to be on the offensive attacking.
Bubella is on deck, who comes in tonight. One of the hottest Texas State hitters coming out of the weekend in Tempe as Zarate stays alive.
It's a great pitch to foul off. This is a tough count, 2-2. That's a pitcher's pitch. Drop ball on that outer corner. Sometimes whenever you're in those counts, it's hard to tell, okay, do I leave that one? Is it going to drop off the table? With a pitcher like Manis, anything close you want to foul off, keep yourself alive.
Here's the full count pitch, and that's chopped into Texas State dugout. Zarate wasting a couple of good pitches. Zarate, back in 2024, had a .248 batting average, 13 extra base hits, including 6 round trippers for the Bobcats, the senior out of Victoria, Texas. There's a look at Manis. A lot of it is expected of her this season for the Tigers. 3-2 again, a ground ball. Bro, backhand across the diamond in time. Nice play by Bro to end the bottom of the first, but the Bobcats get 1 run on 2 hits and have the early lead here in the first game of the States Up Invitational in San Marcos. And in his 7th season at Clemson, 25th year overall as a head coach, and is just 9 wins shy of 1,000 victories. Spent 18 seasons at the helm of the very good Stanford program. This guy's accustomed to winning.
I mean, you can tell. He was talking about their inaugural season back in 2020. Obviously cut short, but after that, they have been to the postseason every single time. New programs do not have that happen. So the level of excellence, the quality, he talked about it in our phone call with him earlier, but the quality of athletes that he recruits and goes after, not just on the field, but off the field, who they are as people, character, that is huge, and that is why Clemson is so good.
Julia Noller, the junior out of Fort Myers, looks at the first 2 pitches of the top of the second out of the hand of Madison Azua. There's a wrist shot, and drifting back, Hood has been very busy so far in the ball game defensively for the Bobcats. And that's what Coach Woodard talked about, staying away from the fat part of the bat.
I think what we're going to see tonight is Texas State, the strategy is, can we keep this ball in the yard? Because whenever Clemson hits the ball, typically they hit it very hard. So you leave anything over the plate, they're going to take it. So in on the hands, throw them off balance every once in a while going away, but in on the hands, making them feel out of rhythm at a time.
Here's the first pitch to Mac Pavesi, the freshman from Canton, Georgia. Was 0 for 2, had an RBI and a walk. Walked in a run in the 3-run second inning against Furman on Tuesday night. A part of the future of this Clemson program. That's on the inside corner. Even at a ball and a strike. Pavesi, 2-time PGF All-American, USA Softball All-American, all of the accolades and a lot of expectations. Azua leaves that one up. The Bobcats scored a run on 2 hits in the bottom of the first inning. Clemson a season ago, 48-14 overall, 19-5, good for second place in the regular season in the ACC. Now Azua behind in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. After Pavesi, it'll be Bro and then could be Hicks.
And Kellner doing a good job. This is the first time we've seen Azua get behind this far in the count that quickly. Just resetting her pitcher again, emphasizing Texas State, not just for this weekend and the slate of teams that they have to face, but just going off of last weekend. They're pitching, they want to be tight on the corners, they want to attack the strike zone.
Azua, 282 strikeouts in 281 career innings. The meeting is over and we're back to softball. Home plate umpire, by the way, Ken Rice. Marshall Niederhofer, at first base, and Ryan Grandy at third, as that's fouled back. Those 3 home runs that Clemson hit against Furman on Tuesday, I told you, Nicole, all 3 of them missiles. A lot of pop in this lineup. Count's full. Nobody on, 1 down. And that's yanked beyond the Clemson first base dugout.
You mentioned games starting a little bit later in the afternoon. This is what your first baseman, your second baseman, your right fielder is having to face right now. That sun is so bright. Texas State familiar, obviously, with this every day practicing around this time.
Right back to Azua. Thank you very much. Flips it over to Coleman. 2 up and 2 down. So basically that shot we just showed, Nicole, welcome to Texas, right?
Welcome to Texas right there. But being able to be aware of that as a defense, you have to be able to be aware of that ahead of time. So communication, whenever the pop-up happens, you're able to know, okay, this is who has a better view, who is able to, okay, maybe a ball in the dirt. I want to take my time, make sure I give my first baseman a better throw versus trying to rush it because she's going to have to be looking into the sun.
Sarah Bro, good start to her young career, hitting .375 on the season. Bro, her 4th start comes tonight out of Miami Springs, Florida. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Bro against Furman was 2 for 2, scored a run, had a couple of doubles, the first doubles of her Clemson career, and that one she sends the other way, drops in front of Williams in right field for the Tigers' first base hit, first base runner of the ball game. Blake going the opposite way on a pitch outside, right?
That's exactly what you want to see. Azua is so far tight and on the hands. That's where all the contact we've seen today come from. Clemson, this one away, waiting until she sees that backdoor. She knows it's coming, sends it oppo.
Corey Hicks stands in, sophomore from San Jose, California. Like my broadcast partner tonight, Hicks played for the Oklahoma Sooners before transferring to Clemson. Check swing. Foul ball. Didn't play against Furman the other night at the NFCA tournament. Was 4 for 16, 3 runs, 5 driven in. Had a home run against Southeast Louisiana. Also went round tripper against Oregon. 1 on and 2 down. Cintron is on deck. Hard shot into left field. Back-to-back 2-out base hits for the Tigers. Bro goes station to station, 2 on, 2 down. A player who would definitely like to get off the snide is Macy Cintron, 0 for 14 so far this season. But trust me, she's one of the best. First pitch here taken for ball 1. Was 0 for 3 against Furman, the sophomore from Cumming, Georgia.
Right now you can see the switch in Clemson's approach to Azua, what they are swinging at. It is that pitch right there, the backdoor that leaks back over the plate. They have success the past 2 hitters. Picks that one hard in the 5-6.
There's a good look at Cintron, the 2025 ACC Freshman of the Year. That pitch up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cintron, interestingly enough, Clemson picked to finish second in the ACC behind Florida State. Cintron is the only Tiger picked preseason All-ACC. Big pitch, 2-1, chopper. Second baseman, Zarate gobbles it up, and Azua gives up 2-out singles, able to wiggle off the hook. And we played an inning and a half. Texas State 1, Clemson nothing. As Texas State head coach Ricky Woodard in her 26th season at Texas State, 8 conference regular season championships, 6 conference tournament championships. She's taken the Bobcats to 11 NCAA regionals in her time here in San Marcos, Texas. There's talking about resumes, and the bottom of the second, she'll send up Bubella Kellner-Hood. And if anybody can get on, Harvey in the 9-hole will bat. Right now, it's just an Iana Coleman 2-out RBI single, the difference. Bubella hitting .471 on the year, 8 for 17. Speaking with Coach Woodard earlier today, talked about this as kind of what the Bobcats expected from Bubella a season ago when she transferred from North Carolina.
Woodard is one of those coaches that knows how to find talent and develop it, especially when people typically may overlook it. Time and time again, year after year, Texas State, they always have those competitive teams. If you let off the gas, if you relax at all, those are the teams that will come back. Especially whenever they play teams like Texas and A&M that are right around the corner from them. And now Texas Tech, another Texas team, they have that experience against high-quality teams, high-level teams. They're not afraid to come up to them. And if anything, they're saying, you should be afraid. This is the team that we've put together. This is the resume that we've been building.
Kate Bubella from El Campo, Texas, hit .225 a year ago. And here's Manis with the first strikeout of the ball game for either team. 1 up and 1 down. Speaking of all conference, Megan Kellner will stand in for the Bobcats, the senior catcher. Picked preseason all Sun Belt Conference, exploded on the scene a year ago. Hit .330 on the season. Looks at a strike there, and that was after hitting .224 back in 2024.
Starting to see Manis working that screwball with her drop ball. Multiple different levels, multiple different planes, and with that one, multiple different speeds. That is the off-speed curve that she has. You felt the timing disrupted just a little bit for Kellner. Looked a little in front of it. That is what that pitch does, resets her timing.
There's a pitch upstairs, and Kellner couldn't get on top of it. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the bottom of the second inning for Texas State. Up at the dish, Sammy Hood, the shortstop tonight, looking for her first hit of this season. 0 for 10, the Wichita State transfer. We have a timeout here, conversation. See our third base umpire, Ryan Grandy, and now Ken Rice, our home plate umpire, will come out. Conversations going on. A lot new here in San Marcos, and that's to include the new video board. Get a look at it there here at Texas State. 26 feet by 16 feet. The display features 360,000 ultra high brightness pixels. There's a look on top, the 5 by 6 foot double-sided SuperCat logo. And that is a nice addition. A nice addition here to the Bobcat softball complex. So the meeting is over. I know we're not lip readers, Nicole. Did you see anything
I mean, the only thing that I could think of is maybe a disruption coming from the other dugout. Maybe that was cause for some frustration. You could see Coach was pretty fired up on that one. An extended conversation, especially after the strikeout. Oh, that is exactly what's happening. It is an 0-2.
Oh, so Kellner digs back in, and Groundhog Day, this time instead of swinging, goes down looking. So don't have to update your scorebooks, those of you keeping score at home. So now, believe me, Sammy Hood, the senior from Allen, Texas, will stand in, the Wichita State transfer. 5 doubles, 8 home runs, 26 driven in a year ago for the Shockers, who happen to be in the tournament, a part of the field.
Going back to that strikeout that just happened, I think what the commotion and the conversation is a legal pitch. That is going to be a topic of conversation.
There's a chopper. Bro, nice backhand. Plants her foot, throws it across, and Pavesi not able to come up with it. After a really nice job, Bro keeping that ball from going down the line. And look at it. That's why they call it the hot corner. And Pavesi trying to come across her body, not able to make the grab.
I think Bro right there, as quickly as she got it, as hard as that ball was hit, I would like to see maybe an extra shuffle, giving herself some time. As a third baseman, especially with the cannon that she has, you can give yourself that extra step.
Bro charged with an error on the play. And that'll take us to Texas State's 9-hole. Sydney Harvey, the senior, hitting 111, 1 for 9 on the season, the speedster. Throw down to first, and sliding into second base, Hood ahead of the tag. Thought they had Hood dead to rights.
And that's exactly what Hood wants to do. You can see how big that leadoff is, but also her hips do not turn. Her hips are constantly facing towards second. Even whenever she stops moving, her momentum stops. So as soon as that throwback happens, she's going straight to second.
And so despite all that, the meetings and the ball getting thrown around the infield, the Bobcats not able to add on to their 1-0 advantage. We move to the top of the third from San Marcos on ESPN+. Bobcats next season, of course, moving to the reimagined Pac-12, and you look at the Bobcats against Power 4 opponents. Ricky Woodard talks about it, Nicole. She thinks iron sharpens iron. You play the best if you want to be the best.
Absolutely. If you want to know what it takes, if you want to have a gut check and go, hey, where am I? That's who you play. This is the slate that you put for your team.
Sam Minish, the sophomore from Hull, Georgia, coming into tonight, 286 on the year, 2 for 7 with a triple. That triple came against Furman on Tuesday. A lot of left-handed bats in this batting order. She looks at that pitch off the outside corner. Clemson, 5 lefties in the batting order tonight.
A lot of lefties, knowing that this would likely be the matchup that they would see. That lefty-lefty, that backdoor working across from them, but also the regular curveball going away. As a lefty, if you step up in the box, a lot of times you can cut off that movement, make that away pitch feel like a middle pitch.
Each team with 2 hits. The Bobcats the lone run. There's a swing and a miss. After minutes, you go to the top of the batting order, Brockenbrough and Chanel.
Zua putting a little bit more zip, knowing Clemson, they have been looking for that backdoor. They have been trying to go after it. She's going to have to make that pitch extra tight.
Swing and a miss. First punch out of the night for Azua. Had to come back, and that AB did Azua.
That's exactly what she did right there. Elevating that backdoor just slightly above the belt line. Making those hitters have to work their eyes, not only east and west, but a little bit up and down.
Brockenbrough slides the hand up the bat, takes it outside for ball one. Hit a little liner to Hood, the Texas State shortstop, to start the ball game. Crowd continues to grow here at Bobcat Softball Complex as that one's in on the hands. There's a look around. There's one of the suites here at Bobcat Softball Complex.
Have the K zone. Zua just getting her first strike. Every time there's a strikeout, you'll start to see those Ks accumulate. She's very familiar with the K zone.
Brockenbrough squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes it for a strike. Brockenbrough, the only Tiger to reach base in every game this season. Already has 2 home runs this season. Had 2 all of last season. Transfer from Tennessee back in the fall of 24, and Azua, as she did against Minish, getting back in the count, evens it at 2-2.
Again, this spark plug for Clemson starts 1, 2, 3. Brockenbrough, like you said, just a powerhouse for Clemson. Didn't get on. You could kind of feel them struggle trying to pick up that momentum, that energy that they lost back in the first. Now we're in the third, second time through the lineup.
There's John Rittman again. What a career. All the great work he did on the West Coast at Stanford. Started the Clemson program. Unboxed the first box of softballs as Brockenbrough wastes that pitch. We'll do the full count again. Clemson a year ago was picked to finish 7th in the ACC. Ended up finishing 2nd in the standings and had 3 come-from-behind wins in the ACC tournament to win it.
If you look right behind Rittman's shoulder.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the top of the third.
I mean, Azua just starting to find her rhythm, starting to find her grit. This one, a changeup down in the zone, plays very well off of the curveball. Almost looks like it's a backdoor coming in. Last minute, it drops off the table and is beautiful. What I was mentioning before was Jessica Mullins, an All-American, incredible pitcher here at Texas State. You could see her standing right behind Coach Rittman. And again, not an unfamiliar sight. Talked about Woodard and what she's able to do as a coach, finding pitchers who are just diamonds in the rough and know how to compete and develop and grow. Phenomenal. And there she is right there. There's the pitching finger right there.
Went on to play pro softball after her days here at Texas State. And that was the story when Randy Rupp left. Here in these parts, who's going to replace Randy Rupp? Well, hello, Jessica Mullins. Mullins gets ready to leave. Who's going to replace Mullins? And that's when Madison Azua made the 45-minute drive south from Round Rock. And she has taken the ball for the Bobcats in many a big game, many a big moment. Tonight, taking on 18th ranked Clemson. That pitch down low, evens the count. Chanel grounded out to short her first time. Good look at her there. Chanel out of Keystone Heights, Florida. Was AAC's all-second team a season ago at Florida Atlantic. The 2-2. That's lifted towards right center and drops in for a 2-out base knock for Chanel. Like the way she pulled her hands in there.
Again, that backdoor is a pitch that Clemson is hunting. Azua, she has a lot of zip. She's going to be in those upper 60s, but whenever you get that pitch on the outer half to a righty, that slows down the speed so it feels more like a 65-mile-an-hour pitch, allows you to find that timing a bit better.
Strike to Marion Collins on the outside corner. Collins, sophomore from Marietta, Georgia, had a 3-run home run in the 9-1 win over Furman a couple of nights ago. Also was walked a couple of times by Paladin pitching. It's fouled back to the screen. Collins coming in tonight, .529 batting average. I checked, that's not bad. That's the way you hit.
I mean,
back in your days at
I
Oklahoma,
think-
right? You were in the 500, 450.
I think it's safe to say she's seeing the ball pretty well here in its first few weekends.
Leads the team with 9 hits coming into the weekend. That pitch just off the outside corner. A bunch of Texas State umpires in the stands didn't want the call.
They never do.
They never do, right? You try to stay neutral when you're a fan in the stands, and you just can't do it. That shot gets beyond the glove of Zarate into right field. Putting the brakes on at second is Chanel. So, just like the Tigers did back in the top of the second, back-to-back 2-out singles for Clemson.
And again, that tight end pitch to those lefties, you can see them going, and you look at where these hits, where these balls are going, all of them have shifted over from the middle in the first inning, now over towards right field, that right side. And I think this is what this timeout is right here, is the conversation between a battery who are mature, developed. They know they are a pitcher and catcher, not just a thrower and a catcher, right? And so this conversation is, they're pounding, they're going after this pitch. How can we adjust? How can we throw them off? And I think we're going to start to see maybe some curveballs on the other side of the zone, as well as some off-speed.
Julia Noller had 2 RBI against Furman earlier this week. Had a run driven in down in Clearwater, looking for a big RBI here. First pitch swing and a miss. Noller popped out to short her first time. Enters her junior year, 95 career starts coming into the year. Also had 90 RBIs, so she's now at 93 on her Clemson career. And just like that, Azua ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. If you're Azua and you're here against the cleanup hitter, what are you doing on this pitch?
I think you're trying to disrupt her, making her guess both of those pitches, swings and misses on the outer half. I'd go back there again.
Noller able to waste that 0-2 pitch. If Noller can reach, Pavesi on deck.
Again, spoiling that one. As a hitter, you go in with a certain plan, and most of the time you will stick to it. Every once in a while you'll feel the switch and you'll change your mind, but
0-2 again, way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Azua started off the inning by striking out Minish and Brockenbrough, and then Chanel and Collins back-to-back singles. Chanel, good speed at second base. 1-2. Noller wastes that pitch.
I think Clemson has done very well. I haven't seen too many hits out of them back-to-back this inning, though. But pitch count is at 50. We are only in the 3rd inning. They have taken Azua deep into counts. They have seen a lot of balls, and I can guarantee the communication in the dugout. You can see it at bat to at bat.
The 1-2 called, strike 3. Azua paints the outside corner. 3 punch-outs in the top of the 3rd. Azua greeted by her teammates. The Bobcats maintain a 1-0 advantage here in San Marcos.
Pizza Hut, you owe Chicago an apology.
Tavern style pizza is our thing.
Why couldn't you be happy with deep dish like all the tourists? That's good.
And you just had to make it so crispy and delicious. It's perfection.
They put the toppings all the way to the edge.
It's cut in the shareable square.
That's delicious.
What's your deal, Pizza Hut?
Your secret's out, Chicago. Try any of our large Chicago tavern-style recipes for just $12 each.
Hey, Pizza Hut, you owe Chicago an apology.
Sorry, Chicago. No one out pizza's the Hut.
Apology accepted.
In case anybody wondered how long it would take the Clemson Tigers softball program to get good, you see it there. The Tigers got good, Nicole, in a hurry.
I think year 2 is the average for a new program to reach postseason. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
At least at Clemson. Again, this goes back to the quality athlete, the quality person that Coach Rittman is looking for. I think it's a true testament, because you don't get results like that right away unless there's something going on off the field. that's going right. And I think it speaks to his history as a head coach, his experience, the tenure that he has had, but also just softball IQ, softball knowledge. You can see it even here in this game. This team, they are knowledgeable and they're hungry, and that's something that Coach Rittman talked about this team specifically that makes them unique, is they are hungry to finally get over that hump and get to the Women's Golf World Series.
Williams Vestal Bass due to face Sierra Manis here in the home half of the third inning. And one thing that both of these coaches talked about as well, as you see Williams dig in there, she singled to start off the ball game for the Bobcats, but both coaches talked about the desire to have player-led teams as opposed to the coaches having to bang the drum constantly.
Absolutely, and that's a hard thing to achieve, but what that looks like whenever you are able to is accountability between teammates. Hey, what are you working on today? It can be something as casual as that. Hey, what's your goal here on this? Do you need anything? How are you feeling? Hey, remember where we're going in 2 weeks. Remember what you told me. I got you. Let's get back in there if you see somebody slacking. It's those check-ins. It's those real relationships. That is how you get that in-team accountability.
Counts 2 balls and a strike. You see it there to Williams. She squares around and looks at strike 2. I think about all the really good teams I've been around over my time, and usually those teams had the common denominator of strong leaders on the field, on the court. 2-2. Williams shot down into the corner. Extra bases for Williams as Cintron digs it out of the corner. Williams led off the bottom of the first with a single, leads off the bottom of the third with a double.
I think it's safe to say Williams, she is seeing Manis pretty well. This one, an elevated pitch, leaked over the plate. So not only is it in her wheelhouse, it is over the middle inside of the plate. She's able to take it. That back corner is exactly, as a lefty, where you want to place the ball. An easy stand-up double and a pretty nice celebration.
Harley Vestal stands in and squares to bunt as the corners come crashing for Williams. And keep in mind that for Texas State, they've played just 5+ games. Williams already 4 two-baggers on the year. Vestal again. That one is foul as Hicks, the catcher, pounced on it.
Hicks just catches it right behind home plate. Woodard obviously knowing runners in scoring position, you want to take full advantage with 0 outs. Getting a runner over to third with only 1 out, that would be huge.
That's on the outside corner as Vestal not squaring there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A wise person once told me there are many more ways to score from third than from second. Manis ahead in the count. Vestal looks at that pitch down. It'll be Bass and then Coleman due up. So far, Coleman the only RBI of the ball game. Vestal wastes that pitch. A year ago at Texas A&M, played in just 5 games for the Aggies. Here's the New Braunfels native. Was 26-5A All-District first team as a senior just down the road. Manis gets the sign from Hicks. Chopper gets past the second baseman Collins, and Ricky Woodard wisely puts on the brakes for Williams at third, but Texas State runners at the corners with nobody out. We saw Ricky Woodard get maybe a little ambitious in the first when she sent Bass. There, Coach Woodard wisely stopped Williams.
Well, again, you look at the situations. First inning, you want to attack, but here, your right fielder playing pretty shallow for Clemson. Cintron, she's ready to go. If she fields that ball cleanly, which she did, she has a good throw, which she did, very easily could have been an out at home, which, especially with 0 outs right now, runners on the corners, that is the last place that you want to get thrown out.
Bass, 3 RBI on the year. She has scored the only run of the game. Grounded into a fielder's choice and came in to score on the before-mentioned Coleman RBI. There's a chopper back to Manis. She looks the runner back to third. Vestal, smart base running by her behind the play. She sneaks into second base with 1 out.
I like that heads up by Manis, knowing that she got that ball so quickly, knowing the aggression from Williams. She's a very aggressive runner, likes to push the limits. She gives her an extra beat, looking at her saying, no, stay there, because I will throw you out. Turns over, gets out at first.
Do you walk Coleman here if you're Clemson? First base open, 1 out.
I think last at bat, whenever you run through it, I think Manis beat Coleman in that at bat. She had a very quality pitch count to her. Her stuff looked good. I would go right at her.
1-0 pitch. That's off the inside corner. So maybe it's one of those cases of kind of an unintentional, intentional walk where you try to see if the hitter will expand their zone.
No unintentional, intentional walk, but I'm going to go with pitcher's pitches. I'm not going to give her a solid strike.
There's a swing and a miss. Anna Coleman, the reigning Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. She burst on the scene.
Definitely would like to keep the ball low in the zone. Even if she does get a hold of it, might not go anywhere.
That pitch looked like it had the plate but down, and Coleman ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Kat Zarate, see her in the background of your shot there. Zarate on deck. Runners at second and third. Bobcats looking to add to a 1-0 advantage. 3-1, and there's a walk. Something Coleman is quite accustomed to. Coleman was walked 3 times last weekend in Tempe, plus an intentional walk.
I think in this instance, right now, if you're Clemson, you're going to see coach call time, come out, talk to his pitchers, talk to his defense.
There is activity. 2 Tigers warming in the bullpen in the right field corner.
You have options with bases loaded, 1 out. Like we mentioned before, Manis, she is a drop ball pitcher. What that means is it's basically a setup play for your defense for a double play. I think coach here is just reassuring her, saying, hey, remember your best pitches. Let the hitter get themselves out. Defense, do your work. Be quick. Be ready. It's coming towards you. And go from there.
Zarate grounded out to third her first time. Williams has really good wheels at third base. Let's see if the Bobcats have something on here. As the first pitch from Manis to Zarate inside for a ball. Williams led off the inning. She lashed a double into the right field corner. Vestal with a single, and after a Bass ground out, Coleman a 5-pitch walk. Nowhere to put him, as they say, as the 1-0 gets the upper part of the zone, evens the count.
Starting to see Manis go for that screwball for the strike pitch. Struggling to locate that drop ball just a little bit.
Infield is in for the Tigers. 1-1, strike 2. Bubella is on deck. She's been swinging a hot bat. See her behind Zarate there. Can Manis work out of the jam? Spins the ball, has the sign. Hard shot through the middle into center field. It's going to score 1. The throw coming in is off the glove of Pavesi, and that allows Vestal to score, and Texas State up 3-0.
That right there. You will see plays like that often early on in season because you don't have that time to practice. You mentioned it was a beautiful throw from center field, but Pavesi just gets a glove on it. I think there was a play at the plate right there. You can see Corey Hicks gesturing, talking, but that comes with the reps, that comes with the familiarity. And I think in the difference of this game right here is not the hits. You look at Clemson and the hits that they've had, it is timeliness, and it is aggressive base running. In Texas State, they have all the momentum, and that is what they've been doing. Eat 'em up, Cats, innings 1, 2, 3.
Catsarati sat out all of last season. You know it killed her. But she's worked her way back and just got her 3rd and 4th RBI of the season. As Texas State going to have a pinch runner, as Coleman will head back to the dugout, and Mel Reeves, a sophomore from San Antonio Johnson High School, the former Johnson Jaguar, will come in, and she has speed to burn. Texas State 2 on, 1 out. First pitch to Babella is a strike. She was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. 1-0 off the inside corner. Again, Clemson, you look at the Tigers weekend, Nicole. Texas State, the host tonight. There are 2 games against Arkansas up ahead. A part of their weekend. The 2-0, that chopper, Manis goes to third. Bro for 1, over to first, not in time for the double play. But again, Clemson does a nice job of erasing the lead runner.
This is a good snag by Manis, and immediately knowing where she wants to go. As a pitcher, sometimes you'll see hesitation, you'll see a second guess, but so far she's not only fielded her position very well, but very heads up and mindful of where her runners are.
Kellner, first pitch swinging. Bro's been busy. Over to first to end things for Texas State in the bottom of the 3rd. But there is a big however. 2 RBI single by Catsarati stakes the Bobcats to a 3-0 advantage here in San Marcos. Had a handful of hits in tonight's game, but none bigger than the RBI single by Coleman in the 1st inning. And there you see it again. Catsarati, not playing a season ago, delivers her biggest hit of this season to date. 2 RBI single in the bottom of the 3rd to stake Madison Azua and the Bobcats to a 3-0 advantage. These teams have combined for 9 hits through 3 full innings. It's Pavesi, Bro, and Hicks. First pitch on the outside corner to Pavesi. She grounded out back to Azua in the 2nd inning.
Going into this game, we had talked about the pitching. That was going to be the key. That was going to be the highlight to this game.
Hard-shotted Coleman, 1 up and 1 down.
I feel like so far it really has been the hitters, the adjustments both teams have made. You'll see a pitcher come out 1 inning, throw a certain pitch, be on fire, have a couple strikeouts, and immediately the next inning, both offenses have switched up, they have changed their game plans, and they have made those adjustments and been successful.
Bro got the first hit of the night for Clemson. Singled to right field back in the 2nd inning. As Madison Azua retired the first 5 Tigers she faced tonight. But Clemson, back-to-back innings, 2 two-out singles for the Tigers, but not able to cash in. Trying to change it here on the road, down 3-0. Still a lot of softball left to be played, especially a lineup like Clemson and all this thunder. Azua leaves that pitch outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. As there we got a good look at Bro. We've seen her defensively tonight, the freshman from Miami Springs, Florida. Max Preps All-American back in 2024. Swing and a miss. Comes from an athletic family. Her dad, Michael, played football at Nevada. Was first team All-Big West. A 2014 Hall of Fame athletic department inductee for the Wolfpack. Kellner tries to pull it back to the corner. Counts full. One thing Azua's done tonight, Nicole, is she's gotten the leadoff batter. She's, started each inning one down, nobody on. Throw waste that pitch.
Well, you look back just to last inning, getting the leadoff batter, getting your top of the lineup back-to-back strikeouts. That is huge because you look at hitters 2 and 3, back-to-back hits. So being able to minimize that damage.
Nice play, Zarate. Doing it with the bat, doing it with the glove. 2 up and 2 down for the Tigers. We'll bring up Hicks, who singled her first time tonight. The only 1-2-3 inning, half inning, we've had tonight was the top of the first. Hicks way out in front of that offering.
It's a beautiful changeup. Haven't seen it too often from Azua, much less the first pitch. You can tell timing disrupted completely.
When you were a hitter, would you rather see a 73-mile-an-hour heater or somebody who had a devastating changeup?
Depends, does the heater move? I always say, no matter how hard you throw, eventually you're going to catch up to speed. But movement, if you have enough speed, you don't need to be the fastest thrower in the world, but if you have enough movement, it's so hard to place.
Azua had him to count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And yeah, that's kind of what I've heard from good hitters I've had the conversation with is they thought they could always catch up with the hot stuff, but a pitcher who can disrupt timing, get you off balance, that can be devastating. We mentioned Jessica Mullins and those kinds of pitchers a moment ago, and that's precisely what she did. The 1-2, good take by Hicks. If Hicks can reach, it'll be Cintron, who's on deck looking for her first hit of the season. Kellner with the sign. Azua with the pitch. Another really nice take by Hicks, and the count's gone full.
This is where I think as the game has gone on, Azua has gotten into, I don't want to say trouble, but she has put herself into tough situations where she's nibbling just a little bit instead of finishing these batters. That was something Texas State talked about wanting from their pitching staff, and that pitch right there finishes her off. Big time strikeout.
Azua, here's my partner. The strikeout to end the top of the 4th inning, and the Bobcats will come to bat already in front 3-0, looking for more. Finish first in the Sun Belt in their final season in the league. And look at the Bobcats also named as the #3 mid-major program by Softball America. There's Ricky Woodard, who's been the architect of all of this. Coach visiting with her today, and I almost felt like I was talking to Coach just on some random Tuesday in August, no game, as she seemed relaxed. But she wasn't.
Well, with good reason. I mean, you look at what this offense has done, what Azua has done on the mound. I would be feeling pretty confident as well. I think it goes to a lot of preparation and just practice plan and buying in. And I think that's something that Coach talked about, wanting this team specifically, how they have bought in and how they have gone. We want to elevate to the next level. It's not enough to just be the conference favorite. We want to go a little bit farther this year. How far can we go? What do we have to do to get there?
There's Hood, who reached on an air her first time, grounded out to Collins over to Pavesi to start the home half of the 4th inning. 1 up and 1 down for the Bobcats. And now Harvey stands in, a strikeout victim her first time. The Bobcats 1 in the first, 2 in the 3rd. Harvey squares to bunt. After Harvey, you go to the top of the batting order where Williams looms around the corner. Clemson respecting Harvey's speed in at the corners. Especially Bro at third base. He's coming in.
We talked about the importance of getting that leadoff runner out. You look back to the 2 innings that Texas State scored, they got their leadoff runner on. Williams was able to get on base.
Harvey chops that one foul at home plate. Manis has gone the entire way for the Tigers. Head in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a look at her. The transfer from USC upstate. The Clemson coaching staff saw Manis actually in a couple of regionals, were impressed. She entered the portal, did Manis, and ended up in Tiger Town. Harvey lays off, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Not too hard to be impressed with somebody of her stature. I mean, again, going back to, this is a pitcher, you don't see this too often, who has 3 legitimate speeds. She's able to mix them seamlessly, especially with a drop ball like that. I mean, out of the hand, it looks like it's coming right at the knee, drops off the table. By the time it gets to the catcher, it's down in the dirt.
Second time Harvey's been a strikeout victim tonight, and Manis looking for her first 1-2-3 inning here in San Marcos.
As a slapper, that's a hard pitch to keep your hands in the right position for. Lost her location a little bit in the third with that drop ball. That is her bread and butter. That is her go-to. She tables the rest of her pitches off of that. So now that she has found it again, you can start to see her, all right, feeling myself a little bit, finding that groove.
Williams, who singled in the first, doubled and scored in the third, behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Sierra Manis, 2025 Big South All-Conference first team. Was on the all-freshman team for that league back in 2024. That's outside for ball 1. If Williams can reach, Vestal will stand in. For Texas State, they've got Wichita State tomorrow at 12:15. Meanwhile, Clemson will take on Arkansas. Williams, ground ball. Chanel, shortstop over to first, not in time. So Manis still that elusive 1-2-3 inning.
And I think Chanel here just overestimating just a little bit the speed of Williams. She hasn't had to field and throw her out at first. You can see her take the extra shuffle and then realize just too late, there is too much speed. I don't have time to take that extra step.
So Vestal comes up, looks at a strike. Vestal singled and scored in the third inning, as it was Williams and Vestal who came in and scored on Zarati's 2-run single to center back in the third. 0-1, chopped just outside the bag. Manis ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
And what Texas State has done very well is capitalize on miscues from Clemson. I look back to the first inning, that's how they scored their first run. Miscue over at third, a miscue at home, that's how they got that additional third run.
Vestal wastes that 0-2 pitch. The line right now, Clemson no runs on 4 hits, 1 error, 4 left on. And for the Bobcats, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors, also have stranded 4. Vestal looking for his second hit of the night, lifts that one foul, slicing down the left field side. Bass on deck for Texas State. Again, we have 2, as far as their conferences go, premier programs. Texas State picked to win the Sun Belt, and Clemson picked to finish second behind Florida State in the ACC. Up and out, there goes Williams, kind of a delayed steal, throw down to the bag, and Williams is able to avoid the tag by Chanel.
That foot just sliding in there. Again, the speed from Williams. An aggressive base runner and a smart base runner goes towards that backside of the bag. You could see Chanel whenever she caught it, that glove touching the ground just a moment before she's able to get that tag over. And again, the hindsight of Williams going to the backside of the bag. Umpires now converging.
Did you see Williams leave early, possibly?
on that replay from that angle,
That's what they're talking
I wouldn't
about.
have enough to say. But again, this is a great challenge.
Let's see
Gets
if we
you
can-
out of this inning.
Let's see if we can pick up.
Second base is under review. Since it's challenging, the play will be under further review.
So not sure if we have another look at it. We do. What do you think, umpire Nicole?
I think in this day and age with video review as a runner, especially somebody who is an aggressive base runner, you know that these calls are going to be reviewed. So leaving early is not something that is the cheat until you get caught kind of mindset anymore.
See it again.
And I think she does leave just a little early.
Yeah.
I would say it looks like as that arm is coming down, I mean, literally milliseconds before release, Williams, that foot comes off the bag. We saw this last year several times with teams using it strategically just as the option. Again, because runners like Williams, speed, aggressive, their whole life they had been taught, leave early, leave early, leave early. And all of a sudden, now they're getting reviewed and they're getting called out. It's a great way to disrupt their momentum.
I understand Coach Rittman here. You're already down 3-0. You don't want to get Williams into scoring position, and potential of Viscal already has one hit tonight. She drops another one in there, and all of a sudden you're down 4-0. I mean, right now, Clemson, in their mind, I would think they understand the Tigers are just a bloop, bloop, and a blast away from tying this thing. So we will get the call here. Happy to feed you the umpire mic, a part of our repertoire here in 2026.
After further review, the call on the field is confirmed.
That's why you and I are up here in the booth, Nicole, and we're not wearing the black.
That's why we're up in the booth.
To your point, though, it was a nice slide by Williams to go to the back part of the bag.
Also, video review, we showed you one angle. Whenever they get video review, they have a lot of different angles. Sometimes we don't always get to show and highlight that on broadcast.
Second steal of the season for Williams, who, and you talk about players, what do they bring in their tool bag to the field? Williams, there's a good look at her. She can pretty much do it all, as Vestal again stays alive against Sierra Manis. Trying to get out of trouble here. Ground tapper, Manis has it. Over to first to end things for Texas State in the bottom of the fourth inning. We're more than halfway done here in the States Up Invitational Tournament opener. Texas State in front 3-0. Clemson and Texas State, a lot of success, and John Rittman again in his 7th season in charge of the Tigers, and you see what Clemson has done specifically in the ACC. And you know, you played softball at the highest level, Nicole, and I know you know ACC softball. When you talk about Florida State, when you talk about the North Carolinas and Virginia Tech and even Duke, really good now. So that's impressive. Cintron leads it off. Chopper foul. Cintron grounded out to second, her first time. And mentioned John Rittman and also Ricky Woodard. They have a lot of connections, including they're both New Mexico State graduates, but other connections as well.
Spent some time in the pack together. Not on the same coaching staff. Destined, I guess, to always be coaching against one another, but Woodard said whenever she was looking at accepting this job here over at Texas State, Rittman, he put in a good word for her. I think game respects game.
Cintron, her first hit of the season. It's going to go to the wall, but Harvey quickly gets it in to limit Cintron to a single, and you see the hug there. How good of a feeling is that for Cintron to get her first knock of the season?
There's a saying whenever you are struggling to get on base is it only takes one. Cintron takes that backdoor curve that Clemson has done so well and sends it deep into center field. That celebration is finally, I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry. I can ease off of that pressure. And I think that's something that Cintron's going to learn as this season goes on and develops. It is hard to be a phenomenal freshman and have the success that you did and not put that kind of pressure on yourself, to not feel it from outside and feel like you have to perform and be at that level as a sophomore. Again, repeat it, do it more, do it better. Time and time again, you see that same story. I don't like using the word sophomore slump, but there is a pressure whenever you have a lot of success as a freshman.
Kylie Johnson is the runner for Cintron. You get a look at her there. Cintron, that was the Tigers' 5th hit of the night. The 1-1 pitch to Minish, who struck out her first time. That actually makes it a ball and a strike. It is 2 balls and 1 strike. After Minish, the top of the batting order. Squares to bunt. Azua, bare hand to Coleman at first. Retires Minish by a step. Johnson over to second base on the sacrifice. Good bunt there, deadened it right out in front of home plate, but an even better play by Azua to pounce on it.
I mean, just perfectly placed. And you saw how quickly Azua got out of that circle, even as a lefty. Being able to cover that range. Coleman, by staying back, what that tells me is Ricky Woodard says, I know that Azua can cover that much ground, not only on the left-hand side, but even in balls just like that one that are bunted right in front of home plate.
Brockenbrough 0 for 2 tonight. Reached safely in all 6 games coming into this ball game. There, looks at a strike on the outside corner. Azua ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Johnson, the pinch runner at second base. There's Madison Azua. Has gone the distance for Texas State tonight. 0-2 swing and a miss. Big punch out there for Azua. And there are 2 away. Second time Azua has gotten Brockenbrough tonight.
That in itself, no easy feat. There have been times in this game where you really have felt Clemson try to come back to create that energy, and something that we've heard from them and we saw from them this past weekend, coming from behind. That is a tough place to play as a team. And anytime you feel that, you see Azua physically on the mound. She gets bigger, her pitches get sharper.
The 5th strikeout for Azua tonight is Chanel 1 for 2. Has one of the Tigers' 5 hits tonight. There's a look at the K board, K sign. Also see former Texas State volleyball coach Karen Chisholm there in the upper right-hand corner of your screen.
Like we said before, all night long, game recognizes game.
Well, back to the screen. That's the thing, right? I mean, obviously you and I enjoy sports, but you know, if you enjoy sports, you don't limit yourself to one thing, right? If you're going through the buffet line, you don't just get one thing, right? If you enjoy food, you're going to sample a bunch of things, as Kellner's going to go out and visit with Azua here.
I feel like Kellner has done such a good job managing her pitcher all game long. We saw it from the very first inning when Azua got behind to whenever Clemson started to string a couple hits together. Just lightens the mood. As soon as she goes out there, you see big smiles. You can see Azua physically just kind of take a breath and relax. I think her style, whenever she's talking to Azua specifically, is more, hey, it's casual. Hey, make a joke, make light of it. Let's do this here. I'm kind of saying this. All right, here we go. Make another joke. Let's get back to it.
It was 77 degrees at first pitch. It's 74 right now as Chanel fouls that one back. In Clemson, South Carolina, it's about 20 degrees cooler right now. Speaking of crowd, did notice before the game walking up, the Clemson Tigers have brought fans with them to Central Texas. The pitch is up out of the zone. Good take there.
them so fun, right? Not only are they fun to watch at home, they're fun to watch on the road. And a team like that has success like that, yeah, I'm going to travel to watch my team.
Did you ever play Arkansas in your career?
Oh, did we? I
Okay.
can't tell you how many times.
Nicole, there will be a bunch of Razorback fans here this weekend. Trust me.
I have been the victim of calling the Hogs one too many times at my career.
Right.
Arkansas was over at OU multiple times in postseason, regionals, super regionals. We played them often at Arkansas in the fall. Great program. And again, like I just have to highlight the slate that Ricky Woodard has put together. A lot of these teams, just top tier, top quality teams. This is going to be a tournament you look back on.
Good at bat there by Chanel after falling behind in the count. Is able to work the first free pass issued by Azua tonight, and that'll go to the 3-hole. In the person of Collins. Collins tonight 1 for 2, and she's got some pop in that bat. As a matter of fact, a 3-run home run against Furman just 2 nights ago. And there's a big swing. It's fouled away. No balls and 1 strike. Was 8 for 16 at the NFCA tournament in Clearwater last weekend.
Well, definitely respecting that. Look at this Texas State defense. Middles, heels on the grass. Even with 2 outs, that's still pretty deep. They know the kind of pop and power she has.
And here Azua ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. The runner at second is Johnson. She came on to run for Cintron, who singled to start off the inning. After a Minish sacrifice bunt, Brockenbrough went down on strikes, and Chanel, a great at-bat. There she is. She worked a 2-out walk.
That pitch from Azua, changeup, a little elevated.
0-2, just got a piece of it to stay alive. You saw Ken Rice immediately with the call. Noller is on deck. Clemson already this season, 7 home runs. Collins takes.
What we've seen time and time again is Clemson battles. Again, we're in the 5th inning, 80 pitches. We've seen a lot of pitches, 3rd time through the lineup here.
No activity in either bullpen. Right now, it's Azua v. Manis. Swing and a miss, Azua. She does the Houdini act again and gets the punch out to end the inning. Texas State still up 3-0. Madison Azua, so many big assignments, so many big games in her Texas State career, and you go back to the top of the 5th inning where she did her Houdini act. 2 more strikeouts to raise her total to 6 tonight against 18th ranked Clemson. Bass, Coleman, Zarate, the middle of the Texas State batting order, and Bass looks at a strike on the outside corner. Scored the first run of the ball game all the way back in the 1st inning. Came in and scored on Ayanna Coleman's 2-out RBI single. Just like this, Manis ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Bill Culhane along with Nicole Mendez. Appreciate you sitting next to us tonight. The start of our ESPN Plus softball schedule. Ground chopper up the middle, ranging to her left. Chanel almost able to get Bass at first. Did a great job of getting to the ball.
Great effort, great range there. You could tell for a second, Bass kind of taking it easy. Thought that she had it, and then as soon as she realized, oh man, Chanel, she's tracking that one. You could see her double time it. Got away with that one.
Coleman 1 for 1. single, RBI and walked her last time. Low and inside. I thought Chanel had no chance of getting to that ball. There is a right-hander warming for Clemson down in their bullpen in the right field corner. That's low for ball 2. This is the treatment that Coleman got the last 3/4 of last season. There's a look at the right-hander. See if we can get a number there. Here's a chopper. Chanel's got it to second for 1, over to first. 6, 4, 3, twin killing for the Tigers.
That is what, honestly, we have been waiting to see from Clemson all game long. They were close 3 times, 4 times a charm, I guess. This one, great job by Chanel absorbing that funky hop, being able off of her balance off the back foot, getting that over to second base in a hurry. But with that drop ball and the style of pitching that Manis has, this defense for Clemson, they're going to get a lot of opportunities, not just today, throughout the weekend, but throughout the season for a lot of double plays.
Zarate stands in. She has arguably the biggest hit of the game so far tonight. 2 RBI single back in the 3rd. Look at her there. And you bring up a good point there, Nicole, on that double play. That was not an easy hop for Chanel. Kind of got handcuffed and was still able to make the turn, get it over to second base. Zarate, hard shot, left field, going, touch them all. It's Cat Zarate night in San Marcos. Zarate, her second home run of the season, now has 5 RBI, and when you think about her story, Nicole, and I know you've battled your own health issues in your career, have had teammates, but when a teammate misses an entire season and has a moment like tonight, it's special.
Special indeed. You talk about the battle, the mentality, that smile right there, all the rehab,
the pain,
all
right?
the pain, all the waiting, worth it. Absolutely. She gets chained, has the Texas State chain around her neck, but really, you think about what it takes to get there and the mindset and how hungry as an athlete you become, waiting to just get back on the field, play the game that you love. That one, a tough pitch, tight in, knee-high inside, and she just sent it into the night.
The first home run that Manis has yielded this season. The transfer from USC Upstate. Babella, 0 for 2 tonight when she arrived at the ballpark. A .471 batting average. Manis ahead in the count. If Babella can reach, Kellner on deck.
And as great as that home run was, you look back to the double play and how huge that was for Clemson, because that turns a 1-run home run into a 2-run, possibly even 3-run.
There's a chopper to third. Bro over to first, and so that limits the damage here in the bottom of the 5th inning. But Cat Zarate goes over the wall and left. Texas State up 4-0. Zarate, not a stranger to electrifying home runs. A walk-off home run during the Sun Belt Conference tournament a couple of years ago in the semifinals, and tonight in the bottom of the 5th inning, you saw it right there. And you talk about happy teammates. I think her teammates were happier than she was, Nicole.
The way that they exploded out of the dugout, I mean, that is the best feeling whenever you see somebody overcome injury struggles.
Noller, hard shot, but right at Harvey in center field. Noller 0 for 3 now, but she blistered that ball, and again, Harvey positioned perfectly. Sometimes balls find leather, right? It's just inevitable. Pavesi stands in. She's 0 for 2. Here's a hard shot. That's going to find grass. into the corner. Dug out by Williams. The throw to second. The tag. The call out. So sometimes when you find grass, you don't reach. What a throw by Williams, huh? And we're going to have a review. Welcome to college softball.
And again, this year with the video review, whenever you have this opportunity, this chance, I mean, I would review that as well. I mean, it was pretty close.
It's challenge.
Beautiful throw from Williams out in right field. The way she fielded that off the wall, I mean, the ball bounced, didn't have time to get down on the ground after hitting the wall. She absolutely seized down on it.
I'll say this, and I'm trying to replay it in my head, which at my age isn't the best thing to do. The ball beat her, but did she get under the tag? Our crew has done outstanding work tonight with the lens. Let's see. You be the umps at home. That left foot?
I think, again, smart base running. You talk about it all the time. Giving yourself at least a chance. You know you may be hosed, but if you're able to go to the lead side, slide around it, but then also knowing where and reading your defender, where are they going to grab the ball, and going in the complete opposite direction, that gives yourself half a second, half a beat to maybe slide a toe in.
Can I go back to your point? Can I go back to your point from earlier, though? There's got to be clear evidence, and our crew does great work. There aren't 100 cameras out here. Let's see. Whoa. The tag was high. It was at the belt, right? Did that left foot get to the bag before the tag? I just made a rhyme.
And there's, with reviewing and updates, you'll see now whenever a coach reviews it, and if they win the challenge, they actually get to keep their video review. So Rittman still has 2.
So Hood's got it. Boy, I don't know. Is there enough to reverse it? It's one of those that I think if she was called safe, she'd be safe. But the fact that the out call was made delayed, let's see. There's some happy Bobcats at the moment, but there is still softball to be played, and Clemson has already shown this year their ability to come back in ball games. This is a long review. This is a whole train. This is a whole train going by review.
The importance of being able to apply that tag quickly. I mean, that's the difference between safe and out, and that was a great view right there, probably one of the better ones that we have. But being able to apply the tag quickly, don't waste any movement as a defender, bringing your body up, but how quickly from catch to tag can you be efficient with your body?
You have to have loose hands, right? I know coaches always said, when you're receiving that ball for the tag, have loose hands. You don't want to be robotic, don't want to be mechanical. So here's where we stand. Top of the 6th inning. Texas State 4 runs on 8 hits. Clemson no runs on 6 hits. And here comes a very important call.
After review, the call in the field stand. Clemson is out of challenge.
Clemson is out of challenges. So credit Pavesi with the single. And then it goes 9-6 on the out for 2 away.
Again, going back to how quickly that tag was applied, that is so important. A beautiful throw from Williams, but like you said, a little high. Hood doing her best to be able to get that tag applied quickly. And that is big time for Texas State. Every time Clemson has been knocking on the door, threatening to come in, Texas State has shut them down time and time again. You could almost feel it as soon as that ball went off the wall. You could go, okay, here's going to be a play. You know Williams, you know the type of player she is. You know Clemson's going to try to push on a hit like that. Where does the momentum shift?
All Williams has done tonight, 3 for 3 up at the plate, has scored 1 of the 4 runs, and one of the best defensive plays of the night. Lazua, first pitch to Bro is fouled away. Bro, 1 for 2 tonight for the freshman from South Florida. There are 4 Floridians on the Clemson roster, 4 from South Carolina. As Clemson recruits all over, 9 Georgia natives on the Clemson roster as that pitch off the outside corner. It is a national program that Coach Rittman has put together, and you know he has connections across the country.
Again, being at Stanford for so long, you have that West Coast connection. Now you're on the other coast. Like you said, literally covering coast to coast.
Hicks on deck for the Tigers. You know, for Clemson, especially with nobody on 2 down, maybe don't expect to get all of it back here, but would love to cut into this Texas State lead. Good take by Bro.
I think that's what we've seen from Clemson. A lot of big swings here in the 6th inning. You're running out of time. Shorten up those swings. Try to do what you do best as an offense. Hard hit balls. A routine play can become a single if you hit it hard enough.
Bro draws the 2nd walk of the night against Azua. Azua also with 6 strikeouts tonight. There's a look at the lefty. Grabbed the baton from Jessica Mullins a couple of years ago. So many big games in her Texas State career. Hicks looks at a strike. Hicks 1 for 2 tonight. Began her career in Norman, Oklahoma.
I think with the transfer portal, I mean, we've seen it grow exponentially with NIL, and just the ability as an athlete to be able to pick the spot that's right for you. And if you go somewhere and it's not the right fit, having the freedom to go somewhere that is.
Chop foul, Azua ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coach Rittman, when asked about this era, and he says it, and coaches nowadays, you better be saying it, talking about adjusting and adapting to the way things are. If you live in the past, you could find yourself in trouble. The sport is evolving. Look at the scholarship limits now. The 1-2. Kellner tried to pull it to the corner. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You can hear the Clemson dugout trying to pick pitches, yelling, sit on that off speed. A little bit of a smile from Azua.
2-2 swing and a miss. A pump with a fist by Azua as she's able to work around the 2-out walk. Azua greeted by her teammates. The Bobcats have greeted the Tigers with a 4-0 advantage as we go bottom 6. Welcome back to San Marcos, Texas, the opener of the States Up Invitational. Bill Culhane along with Nicole Mendez, and new pitcher in the circle, the lefty, is Olivia Duncan, a 5'10" junior out of Buford, Georgia. As she is one of those 9 Georgia natives on the Clemson roster, and she'll be tasked with trying to navigate 7, 8, 9 in the Texas State batting order. Kellner leads it off.
You're going to see not as much speed from, or as we saw from Manis.
Duncan, her second appearance, has pitched 1 inning, has a strikeout to show for it. And Kellner, who's 0 for 2, is behind in the count, 0-2. Chopper, second baseman Collins. Gets it over to Pavesi, 1 up and 1 down for Texas State. Again, Texas State will face Wichita State tomorrow. Clemson, meanwhile, will take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. A matchup of nationally ranked teams. See Ricky Woodard out of the dugout.
We've seen a lot of reviews from coaches. We're starting early this season. Question here.
They've gotten more camera time than you and I have. We were on the intro for what, 12 seconds?
I mean, somebody tell them to put on their lip gloss and primp their hair next time.
You know, I spent all that time in hair and makeup for 12 seconds, and not sure exactly what Ricky Woodard saw. Catcher interference, maybe. I didn't see it, but you and I are up here in the press box. Let's see. Ryan Grandy, you're on.
Texas State is challenging catcher's obstruction. Is under further review.
Okay, so settle in. I was just saying, and we've talked about the tournament, this field, Nicole. These two, obviously really good softball teams, Texas State, Clemson, but then waiting in the wings, you've got Wichita State. They've been to a bunch of regionals in their history. Of course, BYU out of the Big 12 and Arkansas out of the SEC. They're a top 10 team.
Yeah, and you also, whenever you compare a lot of these teams, something that all of them have in common is they have been on the cusp for a while. You look at Arkansas, not able, and right here, this is the catcher's interference. Just a light tap from the glove of Corey Hicks, but
that's all it
you
takes.
Get that, and free base. Again, Texas State capitalizing again on those errors time and time again from Clemson, just those miscues.
Right.
You see a little
the
deep sigh and a little bit of frustration from Corey Hicks, and rightly so. I mean, you're trying to get it, you're trying to frame it for your pitcher, but right now, if you're Clemson, no matter what you're feeling right now, talk about how do you go to the next level? How do you have that mindset? How quickly can you wipe this? You still have 2 innings left. It's only 4 runs. With the quality of offense that Clemson has, you want to see them wipe that defensively as quick as possible, get back into this game, and resume play the way that Clemson knows how to play.
Due up for the Tigers, by the way, in the top of the 7th is Cintron, Minish, and Brockenbrough, 8-9-1. And there's a look at John Rittman, the head coach of the Tigers. Clemson, in following what they did in Clearwater a weekend ago, obviously run rule against Furman in 5 innings, but you know, just the small plays, right? The little plays that sometimes.
After review, the call on the field stands. The batter will be out. Texas State.
So, both coaches unsuccessful with their challenges so far tonight, and we'll get one final look at it here.
And it looks like it taps it, but at the end of the day, it has to be undeniable in order to turn it over. There has to be irrefutable evidence.
Hood stands in 0 for 2, reached on an error. That was an error by Bro back in the 2nd inning. On deck is Harvey for Texas State. Texas State 3-2 on the year, Clemson 4-2. That's right down Broadway.
To the point I was making earlier about the teams in this slate that we have, all of them have been on the cusp. They have been hungry.
And there is a bunt up the line, barehanded by Duncan, but nowhere to go with the softball.
I mean, that one from Hood, beautiful placement. You can see the convergence of first and pitcher trying to get it at the same time. Corey Hicks signaling, hey, I think that one might turn foul. But the way that you place it, especially whenever their defense is going away from the catcher, it's hard to see that signal. It's hard to hear it in that chaos of the moment. That's exactly why you want to put it down that first base line.
That's where the catcher has to be loud and proud, right? In terms of calling out the play.
Yes.
For Texas State, coming in to hit for the Bobcats, Savannah Coleman, sophomore out of College Station, Texas. We've introduced you to her sister, Ayanna Coleman. You know her. Coleman on the year, 1 for 1 with an RBI. Not bad.
Batting 1,000.
Right, exactly. There's a swing and a miss. Coleman batting for Harvey. Savannah Coleman, that is. Madison Azua has gone the distance for Texas State. Duncan on in relief of Manis, and here Duncan ahead in the count. And I know Clemson knows. I know Texas State knows. On deck is Williams. She's 3 for 3 tonight. Coleman lays off.
Well, Coach Woodard talking about Williams on deck and how it's not just her, but in this lineup, there have been a lot of hitters going and getting extra reps in, asking Coach, hey, can you throw to me? Hey, can we work on this? Hungry to be better. And that's when you know, and we talked about being athlete-led versus coach-led. Whenever it's coming from the athletes and that ask is happening, you're going to see the results on the field.
1-2 pitch lifted to center field. Brockenbrough drifts over. 2 away. So we go to the top of the batting order. I just established Keely Williams, 2 singles, a double, and a run scored tonight. Was 7 for 14 in Tempe last weekend. The Texas A&M transfer. Former Converse Justin Rocket has had a couple of rockets off the bat tonight, and remember the throw that she made earlier in the ball game. Takes a strike there. It was Williams' throw that erased Pavesi trying to stretch a single into a double in the 6th inning. Duncan ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. One thing that Coach Rittman talked to us about is the depth of this pitching staff. 7 pitchers at his disposal.
Not only 7 pitchers, but a lot of different looks as well. You're not going to see 5 of those pitchers have the same style. And I think that's what Clemson is trying to figure out early on in preseason. What a great problem to have, by the way, is how do we want to set up our lineup? How do we want to set up our rotation? What is the best play off of each other? Who do we want to bring into relief?
Williams stays alive again. Manis went the first 5, gave up 8 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 4 strikeouts and a walk. Also gave up her first home run of the season. That was against Zarate back in the 5th inning. Williams lays off again.
This has been a tough lesson for Clemson that first weekend. Starting to feel familiar patterns, the coming from behind late in the game. But I will tell you what, some of the teams that I have played on, some of the teams that I had the privilege of watching and calling for, the lessons that you learn in preseason, you look back at it in June, in May, and you say, man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
Williams sends it to right center. Brockenbrough gets on her horse, races over, and first time tonight, Clemson retires Williams. Texas State 3 outs away, up 4-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning in San Marcos. There's a look at the crowd sticking around here for the end of this one, and there's what's gotten us to this point. Manis, the starter for the Tigers, was able to limit the damage somewhat, and Tigers just haven't gotten the bats really going tonight, especially at key moments. And Azua, Williams, and Zarate for sure have been really good for Texas State.
I mean, I think of timeliness. I think of clutchness. That is something that head coach Ricky Woodard said about this team. They are gritty. You do not want to turn your back on them for 1 second, because they are going to find a crack, an opening, and they're going to make you pay.
Azua trying to finish what she started. Starts Cintron off with a strike. Cintron 1 for 2 tonight. Singled back in the 5th. Her first base hit of the season. She'll get a lot more, don't you doubt. Azua ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. After Cintron, Minish, and then the top of the batting order with Brockenbrough. Outside for a ball. Azua didn't have her best weekend last weekend in Tempe. Went 1-2, a 4.73 ERA. But tonight, Azua has shown why she was picked as the Sun Belt Conference Pitcher of the Year in a league that has some good arms. Ground ball, shortstop. Hood's got it, flips it over to Coleman, who stretches, one away.
Now, right there, we've seen a couple really great stretches over at first from Coleman. Not easy to make those plays, but also keep that toe on the bag. She has done that very well throughout this evening, making her defense look good.
Minish stands in 0 for 1 with a sacrifice, the 9-hole hitter. Texas State will race to bed, be back out here to take on Wichita State tomorrow at 12:15. Azua ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Texas State and Wichita State did battle here in a midweek last season with Texas State prevailing. And then Clemson gets ready for Arkansas tomorrow. Waste pitch, up and out. Coach Rittman talks about what a fun group this is to be around, and understands, and we see it, a lot of talent on this Clemson roster. They have some unfinished business from a year ago. There, dropping it in to right field is Minish for her first hit of the night for the Tigers, if my math is right, and it usually isn't yet. 7th hit tonight for Clemson, but no runs to show for it.
I mean, that one, I love that swing from Minish down in the zone. Azua, that's a great pitch right there. Love the placement, but seeing that, recognizing that as a hitter, going down her body, physically going to get that one and extending the barrel out in front, not trying to run too quickly.
Kennedy Ariol, the junior from Cumming, Georgia, is running at first base. There's a look at her. Now in her 90th career game. She's got Clemson's first run of the ball game in her back pocket. Brockenbrough tonight 0 for 3 against Azua, has struck out her last 2 times. No balls and 1 strike. Brockenbrough has reached, in the first 6 games of the season for the Tigers, the lone true senior on the Clemson roster this year. Bunt foul, and Azua ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. There's a look at Chanel on deck.
I like that look from Brockenbrough, though. Defense playing pretty far back against her, trying to find any way to get on base.
Clemson has gone 32 straight games without being shut out. As a train goes by beyond the wall and left, there it is. Is it going to deliver a big opening win for Texas State in the States Up Invitational? Is that on one of the cars? Chopper, second baseman, coming in. Cerati over to Coleman, and Clemson is out of challenges. I don't know what you saw, Nicole, but the point is, John Rittman, Clemson 0 for 2 on challenges tonight. Did she touch the bag? The runner?
And on that one, it's hard to tell from that angle.
The angle we
the
just
second
had.
angle, it's hard to tell from that angle if she touched the bag, but
the angle
if
from
she
behind,
did touch the bag,
she did.
I think she gets there before the throw. I think she's safe.
Well, then she's safe by a step. This is the angle I want to see. There's the safety bag.
No, she does not touch the bag.
I didn't think so. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know how in the world the first base umpire would be able to determine that. That's Marshall Niederhofer.
Now, in innings 6 and 7, up to the discretion of the umpires, even if you are, as a team, out of reviews, the umpires can come together, and if they feel like a review needs to be had, is warranted, they can go and initiate it. But after conferring in the middle of the circle, they're not. And first base coach just got thrown out.
So it's going to go in your scorebook as a 4-3.
Clemson right now, obviously very frustrated, not happy.
And that, of course, on cue really gets the fans juiced up here. Standing in is Chanel for the Tigers.
And at this point, as a coach, you have to let that go. You cannot continue to keep talking, especially because you're not the head coach. If you want to talk to the home plate umpire, you have to go through your head coach. As an assistant coach, that's not allowed. But then continuing, eventually she gets kicked out of the game.
Clemson fans not happy right now. I know at the SO Club, Tiger Town Tavern, not happy with the way things have gone, and that's just kind of an exclamation point. So clearly the ball doesn't beat the runner. But again, I go back, I never saw Brockenbrough touch.
Which is a moot point, yes.
First pitch to Chanel is a strike. Texas State 1 out away. I guess in all the madness, Ariel did move over to second base. Chopper back to Azua, flip to Coleman, and that does it. Texas State, the opener of the States Up Invitational, shuts out the 18th ranked Clemson Tigers 4-0. Azua pitches a gem.
You can see the excitement here in the circle from Texas State, this team getting together after a huge win. Going into this weekend, we knew there was going to be a lot of battle with the slate that we have, but Texas State, they are not a team to be counted out. 4-0, as you mentioned, first time Clemson has been shut out in many games. Offensively great, pitching was fantastic.
And what a start. What a start to the tournament, and what a start to the tournament for Cazzarati.
I mean, Cazzarati just chomping at the bit all year long. First home weekend, this is what you get. Cazzarati right there.
A big 2 RBI single there to get the Bobcats out in front, 3-0, and then Zarate comes up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Texas State looking for some insurance, and Cazzarati on her comeback tour leaves the building.
I mean, that one gone deep into the night. Cazzarati, she couldn't lose tonight.
No, she couldn't. On behalf of our entire team, I'm Bill Colhane. Want to thank Nicole Mendez, our producer, Allison Bell, our team of superstars. Your final score again from Bobcat Softball Complex, Texas State over Clemson, 4-0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN from San Marcos, Texas. Have a great rest of your night.